Pramila Jayapal is on some bullshit. I don't know what else to say about that, but I'm going to show y'all this video that I was tagged in on Twitter today because sweet baby Jesus. Holy sellout, Batman. Boom, shakalaka. Check it out. Well, let me make sure I can hear it first. There we go.
These are the pieces of work that have to happen. If somebody wants to call for us to force a vote on Medicare for all, I am happy to tell you why I think that's a bad idea. It will end our movement.
But y'all see Marianne's face? Marianne looked at her. She looked like, I don't know what she said next. She looked at her like, the fuck? What you just say? It will end our movement. It will end our movement. Forcing a vote on Medicare for all will end our movement. Effectively, more to the point, forcing a vote on single payer healthcare is what she's specifically referring to. Because I want to get hung up on this whole Medicare for all versus Bernie's Medicare for all versus Jayapal. I get it. Single payer healthcare is what ultimately forced the vote was about. Forced the vote specifically referring to the initiative that Jimmy Dore started because Nancy Pelosi needed the votes of progressives to win her speakership. Needed it. And I don't know if y'all remember this. We were in the middle of a pandemic. Our whole country shut down. Hospitals weren't getting supplies. People couldn't afford insurance, health insurance. Health insurance for a lot of people doubled, tripled in some cases. Couldn't get enough couldn't get enough medicine, literally. Because our ridiculously unaffordable healthcare system. Okay. And during that forced vote movement, people were against it because Jimmy Dore is an asshole. I guess they were really passionate about that. So it must have been a big deal. Maybe it was definitely had to be enough to let millions of people suffer, die sometimes. So Jimmy must be some kind of asshole that no one knows about, that they felt that passion. We just don't know it behind the scenes. Probably. I don't know. And during this forced to vote attempt, when they did go to the speaker, because they said, well, no, because we need Nancy Pelosi because God forbid we get, what was his name? Kevin McCarthy, if I'm not mistaken. It was McCarthy. Or is it Mike McCarthy? No, it's Kevin McCarthy, I think. God forbid we get Kevin McCarthy, who was a Republican, because you know what he could do? He could do something as evil as not passing single payer health care in the middle of a pandemic while simultaneously giving millions of dollars to corporations and military industrial complex. And that could be just awful. So we have to make sure that we don't use single payer health care in the middle of a pandemic to threaten Pelosi's speakership, because look what the alternative could be. And we know that Nancy Pelosi wouldn't not introduce Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic after gaslighting the world that we had to stay home because people might not be healthy. She would never, that's what they said, that's what they said. She would never do anything like that. She's the ally of single payer. It would be fruitless. It wouldn't, and we don't even have the votes anyway. We couldn't really affect this outcome for the speakership. And then the votes actually happen. And McCarthy actually won the first round until the abstentions came back in. And then, of course, the Democrats got in lockstep. But the four progressives, quote unquote, I use that word very loosely, four progressives, or five of them, I think it was four. I think it was Cori Bush, AOC. It was not Jayapal. Can't remember who the other two were. Oh, Jamal Bowman, I believe. I want to say Jamal Bowman and one other person. It definitely wasn't Ilan. Oh, Rashida. It was Rashida Tlaib. They abstained from voting. And if they had remained abstained, Kevin McCarthy actually would have won. So for the first time in the goddamn history of ever, the left, quote unquote, progressives, these quote unquote progressives, had leverage in Congress. Listen, y'all, for the first time ever, we held the fate of the entire neoliberal establishment in our hands. Just like this. Dangling over their head. And with that, guess what they did? They flipped their votes, took it away from McCarthy, gave it to Pelosi. Who we now know to have done what? Not a goddamn thing. The biggest fear, that they just knew Nancy Pelosi wouldn't engage it, which was, at least we know that Nancy Pelosi isn't going to deny us healthcare in the middle of a pandemic while we're telling everybody how important healthcare is. Oh God, is that your biggest fear? Well, it's a good thing that's exactly what the fuck happened, isn't it? Now, mind you, this is in the context of a Democratic House, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic executive branch. After they've been promising y'all health care for the last 2 years on the campaign trail. This is in that context. Now, what do y'all think is more dangerous to the movement? What do you think is a bigger threat to end the movement? Forcing the vote on healthcare in the middle of a pandemic when it's the most popular policy in the country, amongst left, right, anything in between. Is that more dangerous to enter the movement, the movement, or is it giving up every single bit of your leverage after running on that healthcare policy, taking donations from that healthcare policy, jading everyone who ever believed in you and ever believed that you ever wanted to do anything, killing their motivation to get out and fight for that policy against the establishment, reminding the neoliberal establishment and all the Democrats who are in power right now that y'all ain't gonna do shit even if you do have the leverage to do so, and effectively sucking all of the air out of the room. Which do you believe is more damaging to the movement? Y'all let me know. Let me know. What do you think? Probably the latter, right? Probably the latter. But at least Bernie got a budget chair job. Hey. It's not like his family doesn't have it. As long as Bernie's family got health care, it's cool if he quit. And never push a vote for health care. Never use the leverage to threaten Pelosi and encourage the people who support him to threaten Pelosi. At least he got health care. Yeah, I know for everybody else, as long as Bernie's good, then they're good. Well, my fucking family got diabetes and shit. My grandma got to pay $1,200, $1,300 a month for herself. That's like a good month. That's not what it is anymore for healthcare. I know people in my family they make almost 6 figures before taxes, but because of their healthcare, they have to have a second job. Living in the South. No house, no apartment. No house, no nice car. Same car they've been driving for 7-8 years. Almost 6 figures. But because of taxes and then their healthcare, they have to have a second job. Think about that, people. But Jayapal has health care. Bernie has health care. AOC has health care. Rashida Tlaib has health care. Cori Bush has health care. Their families have the best care in the world. So Jayapal will tell you that force the vote would kill the movement. But you know what killed the movement? Literally not forcing the vote and proving that all of the money and energy behind you was for naught. And at the end of the day, y'all are just a bunch of selfish, self-centered sociopaths who ran on saving lives and couldn't stand up to literal fucking evil when it was responsible, almost directly, for allowing them to end, likely before they should have, because they couldn't get the care they needed. While voting, almost, what was that? How many weeks after was that? I can't remember if that bill, no, that was before. It was definitely before. Yeah, remember right before force the vote happened? Because now everybody in Congress, when they want to make an excuse for why something can't work, they become experts in legislating. They just know all the ins and outs. You have to understand how this stuff really works. Because, AOC told us, working with real organizers. That's what she used to tell us. Yeah, these are the same motherfuckers that voted on a bill they didn't read. Remember? Remember that? Remember that they threw a hissy fit? No, excuse me. They didn't throw a hissy fit. You know who threw a hissy fit? Tulsi and Amash and Massey, who I want to say Amash was out by then. But only Tulsi and Massey didn't vote for that bill. I mean, just the bullet points were trash, but it was how many thousand pages? It was almost 1,200 pages, or is it 600? I can't remember which one it was. That they got 2 hours before they had to vote on it. The same ones that's telling y'all we're legislative experts. You gotta listen to us, man. We can give you all the reasons why this just won't work. Those same people voted for a 600-page bill that they didn't read. But they want to convince you that they know what's best for you and that they are, in fact, the experts and that they are looking out for your best interests. Yeah, have fun with that bullshit. Have fun with that. Jayapal, you killed the movement. AOC, you killed the movement. Bernie, you killed the movement. TYT, you killed the movement. Sam Cedar, you killed the movement. Cori Bush, you killed the movement. Jamal Bowman, you killed the movement. Rashida, you too, boo-boo. You too. Y'all killed it. Y'all took money from poor people for a year and a half. Hell, even still, some of y'all. Telling them that you were going to fight to save their lives. And after you made them feel that their health was the most important thing to this country, which is why they have to give up their livelihood, stay home, give up their social lives, not have funerals for their loved ones, not see their loved ones, put them in situations where we have more teens dying from suicide than we have dying from COVID because of how important their health is. You tell them that you're not even willing to hold a person. Y'all had no problem talking about we're campaigning to beat people like Nancy Pelosi and hold them accountable. That person, the person, you don't want to use your leverage against her to get the health care that you took money to run on in the middle of the pandemic that you said everyone has to suffer through. And I'm supposed to think that these people are anything but sociopaths. But we're the conspiracy theorists. We're the ones harming the left. The same shit that they said they were going to run on. The whole reason these people ran was like we're going to force the vote. We're going to force the vote. We're going to force the vote. So then now it was that's crazy because you didn't say that was going to run the movement when y'all was raising millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars off of it. That's weird how that shit. So now you in Congress, you're in the safe district, you're not going anywhere. You got the House, the Senate, and the executive branch, and now forced to vote kills the movement. Question: how is the movement doing right now anyway? Because we didn't succeed in forcing the vote, unfortunately. How's the movement doing? Huh? Is the movement doing good? I don't see no movement. I don't see nothing moving behind me, around me. I don't see no Medicare for all event. I don't see Jayapal getting out and demanding Biden support Medicare for all right now. How is the movement doing, Jayapal? That is alive, according to you, and would be dead if he tried to force a vote on it. How is that movement going at the moment? Out of curiosity. Because basically what you're suggesting is that somehow forcing the vote would be the equivalent of trying to kill a zombie. Because that's the only way you could think this movement isn't already dead, is that we somehow resurrected what you already killed and are going to try to kill it again. It's been dead because of you. We didn't get to force the vote. So your logic doesn't follow. Because when we didn't force the vote, somehow they did an autopsy and the fucking movement's already dead, crazy ass. And y'all be saying this shit like, yeah, it's just totally sounds smart to say. Yeah, for sure. Nobody's going to see any of the fallacies in this. Bruh. Medicare for all right now has as much movement that you'll find in Al Sharpton's haircut. And ladies and gentlemen, I hate to break it to you, as luxurious as his mane might look, it don't move nowhere. They're full of shit, bro. All politicians are bad. Some get it right sometimes. But pretending like the system is legitimate, you cannot be a good person if you're willing to go on camera with Marianne Williamson, who has a platform that she has. You know, people are listening to you, some for the first time. You can go on camera and tell them that fighting for healthcare, when you have the House, the Senate, and the executive branch, you can tell them that fighting for the healthcare, for their health, that you said was so important they had to destroy their own livelihoods potentially to protect it, that would actually be a bad thing. You cannot be a good person. You cannot be a good person. You just do good things sometimes. Is that a fair assessment? Am I being too hard? I know people don't like. I know me and my crew here at the MCS Network, we're destroying the left by just saying, hey, can we just ask our politicians not to be sociopaths and to literally just do what they said they were doing, like what they said they were going to do. If that's harming the left, then ladies and gentlemen, I hate to break it to you, there is no left in this country. Not an organized one anyway. So, get out, organize yourselves, be your own community. I know y'all seen Rome. Some of y'all may have seen Rome. He's on Twitter. Go follow him, Unholy Rome. He raises money. He goes on tour around the country giving poor people food and preaching community. There are a lot of people who are building co-ops, mutual aid funds, free food drives, free clothing markets. Just assume these people are okay with you dying, and that should be all the motivation you need to get out and stop expecting these people to want anything for you. There's not been a single policy in this country passed that was in your interest. If it was something good that happened, it was because at the time it was something convenient for them, and it was probably more important for them to get that policy passed for their sake and their career sake than it was for you. And that's just the facts, unfortunately. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment. Mikasa Sukasa. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Go follow us on Rockfin. You can scan that QR code if you're watching it from your TV or your iPad. Like I said, they just got an Android app. And I keep hearing it's pretty dope. Unfortunately, I am hearing that it's currently better than the iPhone app, which is probably the only time you'll ever hear me say that about anything. But it's because they're still waiting for the approval for the new app for the iPhone in the Apple Store. So don't get all excited, you little Fed users. Androids is for the Feds, don't forget. But at least you get a good Rockfin app, because fuck YouTube, right? Yes, right. Fuck YouTube. All right. Go follow us there. Don't forget we have our Rockfin Premium show every Thursday. You can, if you endorse anyone on Rockfin already, you can watch it. Or if you endorse our channel for $9.99 a month, you can watch it. Because if you endorse anybody on Rockfin, you get everybody's premium content on Rockfin. And like I said, I know y'all been peeping game over there. There are a lot of people on Rockfin now, huh? Didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all they was coming. I told y'all like 2 years ago, like, hey, bro, not for nothing, but they on the way. They don't call me Niko Damas for no reason. And with that being said, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.